This is Justin Scoop taking a look back at the week of December 16th through the 20th, 2024. This is the 3 minute chart looking at Monday the 16th, Tuesday the 17th, Wednesday the 18th, where we had an announcement, Thursday the 19th, and Friday the 20th. And so there was a pretty big move down on Wednesday with an FOMC cutting rates. And so this was, a big move was somewhat expected. This was even bigger than I thought would happen. Um, I thought we would actually have done something where we would go down some, come down. I've been drown a little while. Why is that going that way? All right, where we go down a little bit, come back up, maybe roll over like that later. Like come back up, at least come back up to where we were, just kind of chopping around during the day. Nothing like that happened. It just plummeted. You got a little S curve there, but not even much. It just kept going down all day. And looking back, so obviously with hindsight, I was not prepared for this kind of a move. I was very suspicious that something big was going to happen going down. But I didn't have anything ready to go. I didn't have an order just waiting to get filled at this point in time anywhere in here. And what's crazy is I anticipated because of what I saw on Monday and how I made a little bit of money on Monday. And so what I did on Monday, and this is where we're going to spend some time looking back at this week. So there were a lot of opportunities to make money going down. What's crazy on a move like this, where it moved, 100 something points, is you could have just bought any out of the money option for incredibly cheap, like way down here or here or here, and it would have made money. But most of the time that doesn't work and you end up losing money. So it's like, okay, well, what do you need to look for that's going to have a higher probability of that setup working? And so this is where I wanted to focus some time looking back at Monday. And if I can turn off the annotate, there we go. We zoom in on Monday. What was going on here, and I'll switch over to another chart. But what was going on here is we were just grinding higher all day. Um, Other than this, we did actually make a lower low, and then we, took out the higher high, kind of just grinding up all day until over in here we were barely moving up. We pulled back a little bit, made four bear candles in a row. We had done a couple, four bear candles in a row here, and I think that was it. But then we put in these two candles, and it was key where these two were because I saw it and I got in on the next, I think in the very next candle. On this candle, I got in bearish. And I made some money from here to I exit around here somewhere. Did not get out for as much as I wanted. I should have been looking left a little bit more to get out over, like just have a target where when it takes out this low. I did not. I was anticipating that it would just keep going. It would just keep going. It would keep going. It would keep. No, it wasn't the day for it to keep going like it was on Wednesday. But I saw the setup. I saw and anticipated that. So I did make a really nice gain catching this going down, which was phenomenal. I'm going to switch over to Trading View because I've got my chart set up there a little differently. So here's SPX on Trading View. And what's really nice about this chart is I've got the 10 EMA marked on here. So that's this light blue line. And I've got it set up so I've got an arrow below when it's kind of the bull setup of that strategy. And if you don't know what strategy I'm talking about, uh, check out or reach out to me in the link in the description. Contact me and shoot a comment on one of the videos and I'll fill you in. But what was really interesting is seeing this really nice doji looking candle here. Um, after it had been just going up all day, we were doing some bull setups all day, and then okay, trickle in a couple bear, and then a bull, and then it's can choppy all through this area. Oops, didn't mean to move. And so way up in here late in the day, um, seeing an opportunity where we've got a lot of bulls in all day. Everyone's making money. It's going up. It's new all-time high, whatever. And it's like, oh, now we get a bear setup. What if the rug gets pulled? And that's what I thought with like, we'll just dive, but we only had half an hour to do it. So that was the constraint. That was the constraint of the day. So anyway, I don't have, so this candle here, it opened and closed at the same price. And so it's technically not a bullish candle, just the way that I've got these arrows set up. So I've got some things there where it's looking for the close to be higher than the open. And so in this case, it doesn't meet that. So it didn't put an arrow on it. Um, I'd have to double check my rules, but I think I'm trying to remember if I have it set up where I can have two in a row get the arrow. There's none on the screen here that have two candles in a row getting an arrow. I don't think there's an extra candle in between, a bunch of these, which you could just go bullish above all those, and it would have worked for a little bit. But what I really like is where we've been having a bullish day. All of a sudden, we throw in kind of the bear 10 EMA setup, and it kind of pauses in here, and it's telling you like, okay, get ready for something like not so sure, but as soon as it breaks down, it's going to break down. And so, seeing this Monday, I was anticipating Wednesday would have a bigger move, and obviously, I can say that in hindsight. I didn't do a video on Monday. I should have called it. That would have been great. I can be like, hey, look, I called it, made so much money. I didn't do all that. But this is one of those kind of prerequisites. Like, what's the setup? How can you anticipate? Because if I had set it up the trade and if I had, gone back and looked and seen, how's this going to play out, most likely when you have this kind of a move and 2 days later there's a big announcement for FOMC or there's some news that like you have this kind of a setup and it moves the way I wanted it to for the last half hour of the day basically, or 20 minutes of the last half hour of the day. I'm going to switch back over to actually I'm just going to zoom out on this and kind of get the bigger picture of what happened. So there's the big move on Wednesday. So let me annotate this. Okay, so here's the big move on Wednesday. It's all of that. And I made money on this little bit kind of in there. All right, you see the difference? It's substantial. Um, this is the kind of thing where it's like, oh, hey, we had this kind of a move in a half an hour, and you can make some bear money in that. What's significant about this, and it's easier to see on my other chart, or when I'm not annotating, there's the cursor. The high that we came up to on Wednesday is right about at the low over here. So you see the cursor at the high Wednesday at like 10 a.m. Central Time, at 11:30, 11:24 Central Time. These highs on Wednesday, where I have the cursor here, were right in line with the low. So we totally retested that bear move and we held that resistance. Now, I was not looking to get into a trade before this announcement, knowing that there was an announcement coming. But honestly, what I should have done is just been in a trade, ready to make money if it went down, anticipating from making money and maybe even taking some of the gains from what I made on Monday. Saying, okay, I'm going to let this play. The setup that I had Monday was so good. If it happens again 2 days later, I was watching for something on Tuesday. It's like, are we going to have a move? No, we'll probably wait. It's like we did retest some. We held pretty much at these highs earlier in the day, kind of retested a couple times, and then it rolled back down. But it was a much slower roll down. And then even again, um, right at the end of the day, came back up, not quite as high, but we what I'm seeing here, and again, this is coming through the trading education that I'm a part of. Having this kind of a move and then a gap down, this is one big S curve. All right. It started here. You know, that's what the setup is. It's the S curve. It's anticipating, it's planning ahead. And this is what I didn't do that I'm going to do. I didn't plan ahead. Like I knew that, okay, if it goes down, I'll do this. But what I'm going to change is I think it's going to go down. I'm going to get in. This is the setup. This is the conditions of getting in. I'm not just going to throw money at it. I'm going to plan, hey, when I see this happening, So like, hey, I see this happening this day, right? I see this happening, and then it goes sideways the next day. I'll get in when it retests, when it comes back up. Like that could be the setup. I don't know. I got to figure out exactly what that looks like, exactly what I want, and tell the market, and then just be in the trade because all through here, and I'll show you in the options, all through here, I could have bought a very inexpensive option that made significant amounts of gain. So let's go look at that because that is one of the things I wanted to look at for myself with this setup. So again, here's Monday. I zoom back out to include Wednesday. So if we look at, let's see, we right before things started to really move, we were at about 60-60, 6060, right around there. All right, so 60 points out of the money would be 6,000 strike. Way down here, way below where we were Monday and Tuesday. I'm pretty sure it was within the expected move, just knowing that there was a big announcement. So some of the options were pricier. Um, but if we switch over and look at the price of the 60 of the 6,000 strike, so here's the 6,000 strike expiring on Wednesday, all day long. So you can see it was worth a small amount. Came out well. I guess on Tuesday it went up some to 650. So if we look back on Wednesday, this is what's phenomenal here. Look at this. All morning long, like I put in a low of 0.45 all morning long into just before 1 o'clock Central Time. It was below $1. I could have spent $50, $50 for one contract on this and just played that with the house money that I got on Monday, right? And this is the woulda, shoulda, coulda that, we're not supposed to do. We're not supposed to be like, oh, if I only caught this. But these are the opportunities. This is the exciting stuff, right? So getting into this before the announcement, that's what's key. What's the reason? Why do that? What's the setup you're looking for to be in? Not just getting in to get in, but as it starts moving, can you get in? What are the rules to get in and not be chasing? Things like that that'll play out. So this went, yes, from about $50 to over $12,000. So $120 times 100 because you're controlling 100 shares. So this went from 50 to over 12,000, $50 to over $12,000 for just one contract. The other one that I was looking at that was um, kind of stuck and didn't get into, but stuck with like, should I place this order? Like second guessing. And um, that was so after things started to move, this, the low, oh, it wasn't this one. Not this one. Oh, no, it was this one. Let me see. What was the price in here? Oh, it was right at 1 o'clock, and then the next minute. So the low at 103 Central Time was 0.37. So again, could have spent $50 if I had waited for the announcement and then just gotten into an option. Could have spent $50 on this one. Would have filled me at 50 because the low was 0.37, but I would have had to have the order in at 1 o'clock, at 101, at 102, at 103. Maybe it wouldn't have filled. But if I still had time to place an order and just get in, and I didn't. Easily could have after 1 o'clock, after the announcement, after some of this anticipation of, oh,. Something's going to move. So if we go back to what was happening here, let's go to this. So here is 12:57. Let's step it forward. Here's 1 o'clock. So we knew what was going on at 1 o'clock, and we had a massive candle down and recovered half of it. All right, and closed there in 3 minutes. We knew from this it was going down. Okay. At 103, it continued that much lower, but that option could have filled at zero point 0.5 right at the 103 time as it switched from 102 to 103. This is the significance. It's like if I had waited for this candle to, 102, it's way down here, or maybe 102, excuse me, 59 seconds, it's back up here. You'd have to look at a 1 minute chart, which we can do. I actually like doing that. Let's go see what that was like. So if we zoom in, it's going to let me do this. 1 minute. Nope, that's 1 minute. I'll get some other stuff on here. Here we go. Let me turn off some of these other things right now. Let's just see what's going on. Okay. So here's 1 o'clock. Here's 101. Here's the beginning. Yeah, so the beginning of the 102 minute, it's still down here, not at the lowest, but right here, comes back up at the end of that minute, and it would have still filled, that option would have still filled right around here at the start of 103 or right at the end of 102. All right, we can go even further. I can go down to 15 seconds, which is one thing I enjoy significantly about trading. I can go and trade on the seconds chart. And sometimes when you want to start to see trends coming into play, it's very interesting to be on these charts and see, oh, hey, look, I recognize that pattern because it's all fractal. You can see things a lot lower. So here we're still on Thursday. Where are we at? There we go. Here is the 1 o'clock time. All right. There, it's going to get crazy jumpy here. But anyway, we can still figure out some stuff. So here's 15 seconds. So in the first 15 seconds at 1 o'clock, it goes here, then 15 seconds into 1 o'clock, 30 seconds in, 45 seconds in. Okay, it's 101. We're down here. 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 102. Okay, we're coming back. We put 15 seconds in a row. That's a minute and a half where we recovered after we went so quickly down. And then we just continue on lower. So this is the thing. Like if you want to see S curves and we're not getting them on the higher time frames, come on down to a 15 second. Now, the only way to get 15 seconds on TradingView is when you subscribe. I don't remember which one. I think I have premium, but you can get it. It's really an easy thing just to pay for the data and subscribe, and then you can look at charts like this because this is where, and this is what I didn't do on Wednesday. I didn't zoom in to the 15 seconds. I don't think I did. I may have. And you can see what's going on. You know, there's S curves. It's retracing. It's bouncing. It's continuing lower. I can start to draw channels on this. Like I can draw, what if I just draw from here? What does it look like? Does this line up? Oh, that's phenomenal. Look at that. I can short it when it's here. I can buy it back when it's here, or just let it ride lower. Like this, that almost works out too well. I wish I had done this on Wednesday. Totally wish I had done that on Wednesday. Look at that. Such a clean channel where it's running up into the top, comes into the top, makes a double top here on a 15-second chart. I've got the low here. We come into that low. Yeah, we come a little bit further. We come back up, don't quite make the high, come back down. So, like at this point, it was kind of chopping around in the last 20 minutes of the day, but significant chop. Like it moved way up here and then way down here. These options were going crazy. You go and look at the options chart. Um, so let's go look at the 59.50, which is way down here, which we had come down and basically been in the money, then went out of the money, and then crushed down through, and we got to 58.70. Let's look at 5,900. That's way below anything. When did 5,900 start getting some premium? Okay. So I'm going to switch back over to this chart, and I'm going to go look at 59.50. That was the first one I mentioned. Okay, 59.50. What happened? So 1 o'clock passed, the lows through here. So could have spent 50 bucks anywhere in here, all the way through. Let's see the low. Okay, so up until this candle, 142 Central Time. I could have spent $50 in this contract. This one went from $50. I could have spent 50 and could have exited. Now, yes, could have set a target, been out at $7,000 from $50 to $7,000. Yes, you could have. Most of us are not going to let it get that far because it's like, oh man, I'm making $1,000 right here. And then 6 minutes later, it's 2,000. And 3 minutes later, it's 3,000. And same, 3 minutes, it's 4,000. 3 minutes later, it's 5,000. 3 minutes later, it's 6,000, 7,000. It's just like this gets ridiculous. How it just keeps going. And that's where you have to be in the mindset of abundance to anticipate, to look for, to expect that's going to happen. There are times where I will get into something incredibly inexpensively, like spend $25 on an option, and I'll set my target up at like $1,200. So buy at 0.25, set a target at 1,200, 12.00, excuse me, and just expect like, okay, I'm going to think big because even if it doesn't get there, like, okay, I'm risking $25, but now I'm building that muscle to look for a bigger target. And those are the ones that are exciting when it starts to go there. That was kind of what I did on Monday. Um, I'm trying to remember which option I was in on Monday when that thing happened. I need to check something real quick. Sorry about this. But we might be able to look it up if I can pull it up real quick on another device. And it's making me log in on my phone. Because I think I still had that option handy to know which one it was in. Um, I'm, I, I'm guessing here. But let's see if we can find out. Is it this one? 6075. Is it that one? What was it? I think it was this one. Yeah, it was this one. Okay. I'm gonna go down to one on here because it's just gonna be easier to go through this. So, find the time. What time did I get filled? On Monday, I got filled at. This is not reading right. Oh, there it is. Um, I got filled at 2:31 Central Time. So 2:31. Yeah, I'm on the 1 minute chart. So I got filled at 2:31 for point two. So even below, $20, not even $25. So and then originally I had a target set, I think, for four. And when it didn't get there, I'm like, I'm bumping it out. I gotta get it out further. I think I went to eight. Let's see. Four. Oh yeah, it shows my canceled order. Headed four. Then I had an eight. And I canceled eight and bumped it out to 10.5. And then it didn't make it to eight. And it's like, oh, I gotta pull that target back in. And then this happened. This was annoying because all of a sudden it was plummeting. It's like, okay, I got to make something. Like I bought for 20, but I could exit for almost anything and still make money on this. But you know how you're in it, you want something more than like $1 on the option. Um, so it came down here, almost tagged two. And this is when was I setting a stop? Um, I think I set a stop at two because I have an order here that says two but canceled. Yeah, and then I had an order get filled. I think I moved my stop up to 350 because I was still playing with the stop. Once it did this whole thing, I'm like, I'm just gonna put a stop in because then I can get something. So I think I was moving my stop up from like one and then to two, and then I should have just exited up at four, which was my original target. Because when I set the stop at 350, I think I did. Then I got some slippage and it exited me at 330 at 257. So I was the low. There's me. The low is 330. And how much volume was on this? 276 contracts. So I was one of those. I was the low one that got the low. And then it still would have exited, there we go. It still would have exited for four over here. But it still would have, made something because it didn't come back down to point two. It stayed above that. But that was that trade. So I basically spent $20 to make $330. So I made $310 on that option. And so in such a short, like less than half an hour, didn't have to go too far. Um, had more opportunities to make more. And so that's the muscle that it's like, okay, target higher and just wait and move your target out. And then if I move my target too many times away, it's like it's not going to get there. It's gonna S curve. It's gonna ebb and flow. It's not just gonna go straight there until Wednesday. So anyway, looking back at Monday, what I saw, how I made it, how I was able to watch the trade, make money on it, moving the target. If I had done that Wednesday, it would have worked out phenomenally. I could have bought for, like I was saying, 0.5, and then it's like, oh, I have my target at 10. Okay, move my target out to 20, to 30, to 4. Certain contracts I could have moved it out to 100, and it would have worked. So let's go back and look at one of the other ones. I think it was 5,900 put. Yeah, look at this. This is phenomenal. Okay, so this contract, you could have spent 25, but no, still would have been, yeah, right here. Could have spent 25. 50 would have filled at just about any of these times. Okay. Could have spent $50, and then it would have ran up to 2,500, and then came all the way back down here, putting a low of 115. So could have entered again, buying at two, buying at 150, switching to a different contract that's a little further out of the money, and then it went in the money again. So this is the situation where I had a trading view where, okay, the 5,900 was right here. Look what we did. We went in the money, came back out of the money, went back in the money. Look how significant, even at the very end of the day. Sorry, I need to zoom in on this. So we're looking at 5,900 strike. So I'm gonna hold my cursor at 5,900. Okay, so right in here, 5,900. What the options were doing, what the 5,900 put was doing through this time, 15-second chart. If you can think fast enough, you can get it set up fast enough. There's huge opportunities when there's significant movement. And so this is where I'm going to have to practice this and plan better. It's like, okay, when it's just moving and it's just going that direction, then I can go out. Let me go out 50 more points. So we're talking about the 5,950 strike. Let me go out 50 points to the 5,900 strike. Let me go out to the 5,850 strike. Like, at what strike is it working? And I can buy for really inexpensive and it can skyrocket, and just play those really inexpensive ones. That's an idea. And I don't know that I've talked about this much or mentioned it. I'm not even sure if I mentioned it. But the idea of this kind of resonates in the movie The Big Short, where, what are their names? Jamie and somebody, the guys who worked with Brad Pitt's character in the movie. And they say, we did what nobody else did. We bet on the triple A's or whatever it was that, their whole methodology was that they were um, buying something very inexpensively that nobody thought would happen. They just thought, everyone thought they were crazy. These are those crazy days where it has significant movements. And when you can anticipate those bigger days, there's some huge, huge, huge opportunities to just let things run and to keep going out of the money and to just let it play out. So that's not when it does that. I got to turn this visibility back to, that should work. There we go. So we had some big days here. The one other thing, oh, it's not on the trading view. The one other thing I want to pull up was back on the daily here. Okay, so here is, so I just connected a couple highs up in here, tagged here, and then I grabbed kind of a low down here. But when I grab the low, I'm like, oh look, like the low area of the midline, cuts through this, but then tags this. So I had this drawn, I think on Thursday or Wednesday. And on Friday, we hit the low again. Or I'm sorry, we hit the midline, hit the low of Friday's candle. And it's like, oh man, we're still in the upper half of this channel. But then I had this other trend line, just this line that we already broke through here, put in an island reversal, got back up, um, rolled back down S curve, and then we kind of like I kind of saw this as like a wedge sort of shape, and I think we've broken it. And so that was the biggest thing that I was thinking about for Monday. So going back to Monday, so Monday was this day, it was still a positive candle. Here's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, so Monday was still a positive candle. It was not making an all-time high. Um, so I think I misspoke earlier. I was thinking it was an all-time high. It was not. But it was just chopping around. So this is kind of the setup that I was noticing. We've just been chopping around. It should go higher. It looks like it's going to go higher. The last couple of times we've gotten kind of just choppy, and we're kind of sitting on the 10, choppy, sitting on the 10. We've had a little bit of a pullback, but like sometimes like this one was a bigger pullback, and then we broke this midline on this one. Okay. And then this time we continued higher. And then, this time we pulled back into the midline. And then, we kind of did through here. We pulled back, bounced off of like the 21 here. And then this time, again, we're back up at the very top here. And we put in a couple signals after just chopping it. We just plummet. But this is not very much of a pullback. Like we are only at this midline in this channel that it's like, hey, we're still in an uptrend. Like nothing's broken. Like we're not going bearish. We did put in technically this low was below here, but we didn't close down here. We actually closed back up here. Excuse me. So I think the uptrend is still intact, which if you go in a small time frame, it's not, but on the daily, it is. So it's like, okay, here's what I'm looking for. So this is kind of the setup that I'm thinking about. So here's the plan. Here's what I'm seeing. If we can push back up here, if we could even get this high, we'd put in a new all-time high again, wait for that chop. If we get that high, I don't even know that we're going to get that high because what Monday showed me about Wednesday is Monday broke. So let me go back to what Monday showed me. I'm going to draw on here again. When this happened, it told me something is broken. The uptrend that we were going on that day, like this, that broke. Okay. So then I was anticipating, okay, here's your consolidation on Wednesday. Yes, it could break out, could do that, could totally do that. Because of what happened on Monday, I'm like, okay, something broke, we went down. Something should continue down Wednesday. All right. So now here we are. We've had this big rally day. What's wrong with my mouse? There we go. So we had this big rally on Friday morning, and then this kind of downtrending thing here. And I'm just looking for it to get higher. So it could continue up higher on Monday and Tuesday. I'm not sure how long the market's open Tuesday, if it's a full day or half day. I don't remember. So that's going to throw a little bit of a wrench in things. But if we can continue back up some more, we can go higher and get back into like this range, which we didn't quite make it, here, we made it to there, we're tracing. What I'm looking for is it to retrace some of this move. If it can retrace all of it and actually get a close above Wednesday's candle, I think that's significant because this was massive. So like if we can get up to 60-80 and close and stay up there, that's going to be significant. That's going to be like, okay, is it really going to go down, or did we just pull back enough, however much percent it was Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, that okay, now we can recover because there might be a bigger pullback coming. So I'm not necessarily looking bullish, but I'm like cautiously waiting for it to get high enough. But I would much rather it hold some of these areas. I would much rather it holds within Wednesday's candle and then starts to show signs like Monday. where it's like, hey, it's going, it's, like one day it's like, okay, we're going up, and then it's kind of like, something's going on. And then it's like you draw that trend, and then it gives you those signals where it's like, hey, we got a couple candles here that it's like, what if we break down? And then it goes. And then more people are going to jump on. If is that going to start early the next day? Is there another announcement? That was obviously the catalyst was this announcement. But what I'm anticipating is let's go a little higher, and then let's look for it to pause, and let's look for something bullish to break, and then we'll go bearish. And that'll be the larger than expected move. That will be where you start kind of leveraging a little bit more. Should be with house money, or should be where you've got all these things lined up. Yeah, put in 2 hours. That's the thing that I'm going to look at. Like, how much do I really want to risk? Um, to where I've got more of those things where I'm uh, more of those things where I'm confident, or where the things that I've studied where I've looked for, I have more of those in my favor, looking for that bigger move. So that's a recap of what I saw this week. I definitely made some money this week, which was phenomenal. Did not make as much as I could have. Obviously, you cannot make every dollar for every move in the SPX. You can't do it with every option. You got to pick, you got to choose, you got to plan. And so that's where I'm working on planning. And I hope this helps. This is Justin. Thanks.